Hey guys, I am going to explain in this video how to work leads in Business Contact Manager. This is going to be a part in a series that I want to make. I hope someone finds it helpful. Let me fire up Outlook real quick, and I'll be using Microsoft Outlook 2013 with Business Contact Manager 2013. Now keep in mind that it is exactly the same as Business Contact Manager 2010. So I am going to quickly go into Business Contact Manager, and you'll see here under Content Management I have an absolutely brand new database. There is literally just nothing here. Let me shift the tabs around to reflect the natural order of things. So in Business Contact Manager, right, we naturally have the Leads tab. And leads are convertible to business contacts, which means that when you have a person in this particular container and they're a lead and they're interested in a product or your service, eventually you'd want to remove them from a lead and qualify them and turn them into a business contact, someone whom you conduct business with, and eventually assign them to accounts and then to projects and so forth, and all in the sake of clean and organized fashion. So let's look at the lead window real quick. I'm just going to click on new lead, and creating a new lead is really simple. You can just right click and select a new lead, or just click on the new lead button on the very top. I'm just going to put in here John Doe as my lead. Let's say John is a director at a fictional company called Nova. Yeah, Nova. He's not currently linked to any account, and his email is john.doe@aol.com. Again, totally fictional, 1-800-555-5555. The source is where John Doe would have heard of me. Suppose I'm pumping money into advertising and into a specific source, like let's say I'm putting money into an email campaign, or perhaps I met John in a seminar or a trade show. Or maybe John just emailed me because he found my website. So I'm going to put in here trade show. And initiated by, well, this button here is for our marketing campaigns. Now, here we can create different marketing activities that relate. It could either be a direct mail print or mass mail. Why is this used? This is really used for tracking where the lead actually heard about you. You see, BCM is not just a place where you get to store information. It's also a place where you get to track information and run performance reports to see how you can better optimize your intake of leads and what you can do with them. So in this particular case, I really don't have any campaigns. I can create a new campaign. In this case, I can call this campaign a mass email. But this is I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to not confuse people because I want to focus strictly on the whole lead cycle. And then we have a lead scoring, and in lead scoring, obviously, it's automatic. Why? Because as you select certain things, the stars would automatically say, okay, well, this particular criteria is now filled, and based on the criteria we're putting here, the scoring will show whether they're interested or not in becoming a customer. Now, I don't really use this, to be fully honest. Not that many of my clients or people I work with do. Usually manual is the best way to go. Suppose John Doe is a 4-star lead. Why? Because he's almost there. He almost wants to become a customer. Just I need to do quite some work, little work. I can also modify the scoring criteria. I can add different things into what makes him a more likely to be qualified lead. So in this case, I'm just going to do it manual, and I'm going to say he's a fresh lead Wednesday, the 24th. He was also referred to me, but then again, it negates the whole point of source and trade show. So I'm just going to say fresh lead, and I'm going to add a timestamp in here, and the timestamp just marks down the date and time, and I'm going to say I spoke to John about, and I'm going to put blah blah blah. Why? It's just some arbitrary information. I could do the lorem ipsum, but I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to save and close this. Now I got this lead in my system. He's just going to sit there, and I see here that he's filed as Doe John Nova, and I can sort him by his name, obviously. I can actually add more columns in here if I'd like to see some more information about John. I can actually put in his address and have that show. These are frequently used columns. They give you the ability to add any kind of views. You can make custom views, which you can use. Um, and that's very, very cool. It's a very good thing to have to be able to do that. So I'm going to add the created by column. I want to see who took this lead. Let's say John called, and I have 5 employees. I want to know which employee created this lead, who's doing their job, who took him, who scored him, who's working him. Now, I want to work on this particular lead, and I want to track my activities. So I'm going to click on his name, and let's say today is now Thursday, it's no longer Wednesday, and I'm going to make a phone call to John and follow up with him. So BCM gives you the ability to track all communication correspondence. So you'll see under the Communicate tab, we can create a meeting request, an appointment, we can shoot him an email and track what happened with the email, and of course we can schedule a phone call. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a history item. Instead of Communicate, I'm going to go to History Item, and you see here the little More button, and there's a phone log, and I'm going to add a phone log in here. So I'm going to start my timer, and what the timer is going to do is going to calculate how long I'm speaking to John on the phone for. Now, this is good for marketers. This is a marketing tool. Keep in mind, BCM is not just for content management in terms of keeping track of businesses and opportunities, but also for working leads, and that's where I'm getting at with this. So I'm going to start my timer because now I'm conducting a call to John. This is going to be a follow-up call, and it is an outgoing call, and the subject is going to be following up about, and then blah. So as I'm speaking to John, I'm taking notes. I'm going to say, John is interested. That's really all I could put in. You can put in hundreds and different things and ideas in here. You can write a whole thing of notes in here, unbelievable amount of notes about the phone call. And of course, you can also categorize this. Well, I'm not going to categorize it. I'm just going to go into the very, very basic, simple steps. So John is interested. I'm going to pause my timer, and I'm going to save and close this. And what happened now is if I look at the history items for John, I can always go back and refer to the phone log that I have that on Wednesday at 9:12 p.m. I spoke with John, and you could see who's the person who spoke with him and what they spoke about if they're noting it down. It's very important. Now, let's say, and also keep in mind that when I click on John, his history items also show down here under the communication history quick view panel. This is the quick selection view, which you can add multiple different views in here. As a matter of fact, you can customize this completely and add your own fields and things of that nature. So I'm going to remove the scoring criteria because I'm not really interested in that. But what I am interested in is seeing is the communication history with John and what's been happening with him. So let's say now John is asking me for a particular file. So let me just quickly go over to my desktop. I'm going to create a sample dummy file, text file, and I'm going to call it contract. Just an arbitrary name called contract. And I'm going to go back here to John, and I'm going to add a new timestamp, and I'm going to say sent contract / paperwork / info. And now I'm going to go to add history item, file, and I'm going to select the contract file, and I'm going to save and close this. Now, if you look closely, the communication history now contains information about the phone call and the fact that I sent them a contract 3 minutes after that phone call. Again, you can always keep track of where you're standing with your leads. Remember, closing a lead is extremely important. And the more you work it, the better you work it, the more efficient you are, the more likely you are to close it. So we have John Doe here now. He's a lead. We followed up. We sent a contract, etc. Let's say we're going to shoot him an email. So we're going to go to communicate and click on email. And we're going to email him, yo, what's up? And I really don't want to email john.doe@AOL. I should have really put my own email address in there. Elon@dangerstudio.com. That would have been smarter. But now I sent him an email. Again, everything will appear in history, but since I changed the email, you'll see here that it doesn't link the email from Outlook. Truthfully, I should just change John Doe's email. Let me just do that real quick. Let's go back to general. Let me modify his email address to my email address. Much better. All right, let's click on him again. All communication is done directly via the integrated email function. You don't even have to type his name in Outlook. You could, it would still link, but test, sample, test, test. And I'm just going to shoot some information, nothing crazy. So now that I had sent this email, I do have full history of what transpired between me and John. You'll see here that there's an email message over here still in my outbox about to be sent to John Doe. And I have a total list now of things that transpired between me and John, and you know, he's interested and he's about to sign up. Now it's time to sign up. So now John is now calling me and he's saying, all right, I want to purchase whatever it is you're selling. I want to get whatever service it is you're offering. I am down. I agree to the contract. Here is X amount of money. Let's get this going. Now John is no longer a lead. He's actually a business contact because we're conducting business with John. So I'm going to click on the Convert To button on the very top and convert him to a business contact. Now what happened is all the information is retained from the lead window and now automatically populates into the contact window. Naturally, you can create relationships between different fields, and you can have additional fields here. Suppose like I said, like I do in real estate, or suppose that I am in the industry which sells certain items that require dimensions, width, height, depth, etc. I would create those fields in here, and I would make sure I mark and note everything down. Now I'm going to save and close this for a moment, and I'm going to show you that my leads pool is now empty. The leads container now has nothing. Why it has nothing? Because it is now a business contact. And all the history is also retained, by the way. I'm able to see everything that's happening with this particular person, all the emails that had transpired between me and John, including future emails after he was converted to a customer. So now he is a customer. You know, one thing, very cool thing I want to show you guys too, and I think I did this before in a previous video, but between leads and business contacts, you can always click on the person, click on mail merge, and you can create a new document, and you can mail merge a letter directly to them. You can mass mail multiple contacts. You see here, for example, I could put dear, and I can just insert a merge field in here. I could say dear, and let me add here his full name. And now when I preview, you'll see it'll automatically insert the field information. And what's cool about this is that it'll also insert in custom field information as well. Like you have agreed to pay for the sum of, and then we have a field called sum, and then it will put in that amount in there, and for each individual person. So why is this important? This is important because when you're creating letters to follow up with people, and you're dealing with direct mail, contracts, everything can be pre-filled in a matter of 3 clicks. Very, very simple stuff. So this really wanted to focus on this video. I wanted to really show you guys what is the difference between having a lead and a business contact, and the actual cycle that transpires between having a lead, the actions that happen between before a lead converts to a business contact. And I can actually just rename this tab and call it customer. I'm just going to leave a business contact for the sake of new viewers. So so this is what I was doing. Now I was helping someone the other day, and they said to me, well, what if I have somebody who is not yet a lead, who is a cold call case, someone that never heard of me, and I don't want to put him in leads because I don't want to mix him with people that actually know about me. And it's exactly what I told him. You wouldn't want to do that. You want to separate them. And there is a way to do this. You would have to create a new entity. These are basically entities. In the CRM world, these container pools are called entities. We have an entity for leads, for business contacts, and for accounts. I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to click on Business Contact Manager. I'm going to click on Customize, and I'm going to create a record type. And I'm going to create a brand new record type based on leads. Why based on lead? Because this is going to be a type of a lead, but not really a lead, but it's going to be convertible to a lead. And I'm going to explain to you what that means. So I'm going to create a new business contact type, and I'm going to name it, well, here, let me just create here a new business contact type. And I'm going to give it a name, give it a nice name. I'm going to call it cold calls. Yeah, cold call and cold calls. And I'm going to browse and give it a nice little icon of, let's see, let's put in here, what looks like a cold call. I'm not even sure, but for the sake of not getting too loose, let's give it a retail business kind of little icon, and let's click OK. And let's close this. Now what happens is now two new tabs are now created. Because we created a brand new tab, we also have a new tab now showing the global show me all contact types. That's in everything here. But I'm going to remove that because I'm not interested in looking at everything because I want to be organized. So I'm going to remove it. I have now cold calls, leads, and business contacts. Now in cold calls, I can have a person. Let's say I just went to a suppose I just went to a seminar, or I bumped into someone in the street and they got their business card, and I read it, and we may have some things in common, and I think I might be able to market them, but they don't really know me from a hole in the wall, if you know what I mean. And let's say it was Jane Doe, and let's say Jane Doe is a partner, and let's say she's a partner in a company called she's a Coca-Cola. I don't know. Just give it a random name, nothing too crazy. Give it my email, for example, Elon@dangerstudio.com, and give it an address, give it a phone number. Okay, and I'm going to save and close this. And you'll see here now, Jane Doe is now a cold call partner. She's not a lead. She's definitely not someone I'm doing business with. She's a complete stranger. Someone who I'm going to just out of nowhere hire somebody for, the sole purpose of picking up the phone and calling these lists, this particular list. That's another thing. We're able to create calling lists as well. And I'm going to jump into that in another video where we can create call lists. But cold calls is a very easy way of just labeling something before it becomes a lead. Now, again, everything here is going to work very similar. We do have the history here, so again, we want to add those phone logs, very important. Add files. We can even add Outlook tasks and reminders. Now, suppose at some point, Jane Doe, we broke ground with her, and she is somewhat interested, and she's no longer a complete stranger. Now, we could just click the Convert To button. We can convert her to a lead, or we can immediately convert her to a customer if we're able to close it from a cold call. And this will track the person who's doing it, of course, and the amount of time it took them to do it, the difference in days between when the lead was created, when it was converted, how mature it is, and the age. So I'm here in Convert To, and I'm going to convert her now to a lead. Why am I converting her to a lead? Because she's no longer a cold call. Again, she moves out of cold call, she becomes a lead. And now I can begin working her and scoring her properly and doing everything that it is that I need to do right before I convert her to a business contact. Like John Doe over here, who's already my business contact. Now I have a lead called Doe Jane. She is my lead. She's not even a contact. Now at some point, she may just tell you to bug off. I want to have nothing to do with you. In that case, she's no longer a lead. And she's what we call a dead lead or an inactive lead. You normally don't want to delete these guys, because at the end of the day, when you do another mailing or you come across a really cheap campaign, you might want to do a cheap run trying to revive your leads, kind of resuscitate the deal back to life to see whether you can touch base, or kind of just poke at her to remind you that you're still there, you're still alive, and you're still doing business. And if you recall everything we spoke about, maybe you'll be interested in becoming a customer again. We can tag this as inactive, and we have the tag for inactive, and we can also categorize it and give it a red category. And what happens is it'll place a red bar right on top, and those that use Outlook should be very familiar with this. And the red category is here, and I can actually rename it and call it dead lead. Now the status of this particular lead is inactive. That is the actual tag. That is the status tag. I can add that to the view, or I can create a filter in this particular thing, in the leads pool. I can create a filter, and the filter will filter out all inactive. It will only show me active. So the moment that we mark somebody inactive, that'll immediately disappear from this particular list, but not really be deleted. And we can create a report or do an advanced find and pull up all the inactives and then mass mail them or broadcast to them and remind them of our existence and our company and that we want to do business. And that's what I wanted to show you guys. It's very important. A lot of people are not really aware of how this particular thing works, but this is how lead management at least works within within BCM and Outlook. And you can create appointments and all kinds. Let me clear out the inactive. Let me clear out the category as well. We can create different appointments. We can create meeting requests, email meeting requests, make appointments, share our screens together, multiple things. We can track all the emails. See, right now it's set to track emails from this email address, which means that any single email that arrives, incoming, outgoing, will be tied in and linked to this account, and multiple people will be attached to this. So it's very good. And if you have the social connector, like I do, you'll see here that I have here tons of things. The social connector is also a very, very cool thing. It works with BCM. The social connector plugin, which comes with Outlook, links a user's social network. For example, you have my information right there, and all information directly, like things that are pulled in, what's new with me, and recent actions and attachments. Everything history is recorded here as well. So I'm going to conclude this video with just closing it here. The one thing I did leave dormant is the fact that in business context now, let's say John Doe also works for Coca-Cola, and I'm going to create a new account now, and this is going to be a parent account, and this account will be Coca-Cola, and I'm going to save and close it. So now let's say I'm dealing with an account. Yeah, let me save this. Say now I'm dealing with an account or a company, and it's called Coca-Cola, and I'm going to want to add, I've already added John in there, and John Doe is now director at Coca-Cola. I can label him as my primary point of contact, so now I know who to speak to when I call Coca-Cola. I can add additional business contacts. Again, I won't be able to really add, I could add leads, but it's not wise. You'll want to add specifically contacts who are a part of Coca-Cola. Now, I could add Jane Doe to Coca-Cola and as many employees, and in the future, when I open this particular thing, Coca-Cola, this particular entity, this account entity, I'm going to have a list here of all the associated people, and I'll be able to email them as well. So I'm going to conclude the video with that, and I'm going to create another video showing you a little bit about projects and tasks and things of that nature. It's been a while since I made a video, actually. I've been very, very busy, believe it or not. Work is booming. And I've been getting hundreds of emails, by the way, and I want to thank everybody again for watching my videos. It's my pleasure to teach people. I enjoy teaching. It took me a very long time to learn everything that I know, and I truly, truly enjoy people just taking their time to even listen to me and kind of build ideas and learn. So again, thank you very much. Subscribe to my channel if you can, and I'm going to try and put up more content. And again, thank you so much. Bye.